Hi, it's been a while on Dad's Train Room. Here we are at home. The kids are at home. School's been canceled for a little bit. So what do you do when you're stuck at the house and all you have is a little homework to do? Well, in our family, we have trains. Order up! Food being delivered. Order up. It's a Breakfast Express.
But Dad, I wanted the other kind of cereal.
More power. Sorry, Linus. You're gonna have to eat what you were given. No takebacks to the kitchen.
Andrew, can you pass me a spoon? Why can't I have a normal family?
Now to enjoy some breakfast. What is this?
We thought you could use a diet, Dad.
Even in my own house. We thought we'd have a little fun with the G-scale. And when you have a lot of G-scale laying out and you're stuck at home, well, that's what you kind of do. There's been enough videos of people with toilet paper, I thought we'd do something a little different. So now that you've gotten to get through that, I'm going to show you what we've been working on as far as the tunnel and the mine and where we're at so far. I hope you enjoy it. Now that we have the walls formed for the mine, we're making the holes that allow us to put the marbles in and backlight them. The best way to do this with the plaster is simply just to drill the size that you want and put the marble in the back side of it. And we'll use a little bit of plaster to hold the marble in place. Just kind of drip it in there, but we'll do about 8 holes total, and they'll just fit up right there. So to set up the marbles, I'm using what's called heat shrink. Put over the marble, we heat it up, it shrinks down around the marble real nice and tight, and then I'm using an X-Acto knife to trim the excess so that the heat shrink goes just over the middle of the marble, so it still holds it in firm place, but yet you get to see most of the marble. And then when this is set into place, you won't see the heat shrink, you'll just see the marble and the light that comes through it. And when it's all together, that's pretty much the way it will end up looking. We'll just put them in the back there. The holes are set up so that the marble would fit through, but the heat shrink doesn't. And then we'll put a little plaster around them to hold them in place. Turn it over, and we're going to be painting the inside of it. And to start with the test paint, we're going to go with just a flat black, but we have such a large area, I'm not going to bother putting it on the paint tray. We're just going to pour it straight onto the surface and paint it around from there, just making sure that we don't paint over top of the marbles. give that a couple of coats there and see how it does. We'll probably add in some browns, different colors later on to give it a little more texture. So right now, you can see the marbles sticking in the side. They'll be lit up, and that's pretty much what the mine looks like if you could walk through it. I have one of the walls off of it at the moment. And I went ahead and took those figures, and instead of having them like most of my figures where you can move them around, I went ahead and plastered their feet in place and painted around them so that they look like they were just standing there, and there'll be a stagnant part. Here I'm giving you kind of a view of what you will see when it's in the layout and you're looking up inside of it. Kid's eye view, so to speak. So after we put some lights in the top of it, I think it's going to turn out real well. Alright, so on to the train tunnel. This is us making bricks. Each one of the rib sections has 7 sections of bricks, and they are about 1 millimeter thick, 1/2 millimeter of solid, and 1/2 meter of raised brick on it, and it's just like the brick facing that you'd find on a house when they don't use actual bricks, and this allows them to be thin enough that they're bendable and I can do the arcs. And then here we're making some of the uprights at the bottom, the rib section. So when you look at the mine and you see the rib sections in there, it was a way of being able to do the contours right, make it look well, and be able to do everything on the printer that we have. So that face there is actually 4 pieces that are glued together, and then each one of the rib sections is another 4 pieces, and you can see there where we're bending that around, and it actually ends up with some very interesting geometry going on.
So that's what we've been working on. And since everybody's stuck at home right now and people are a little worried in that, we're going to be making sure that we do a lot more videos to help entertain everybody. Mostly dad jokes, a couple episodes, but something to help cheer you up. I hope you enjoy it.